Hello, welcome to the Always Be Comedy podcast. Tim, it's historic stuff. It's Always Be Comedy Rebooked. To explain what this is when we have a guest back on, but these are all new questions. So it's chat up top. And what it means is it frees us up. So it means that the likes of, say, today's guest, Jacob Hawley, or say Rachel Parris or Mike Wozniak or Nish Kumar and so on and so on. People that we've had on before can come back on and do another Tuesday episode, but with new questions. Tim, it was important that we started with a friend in Jacob Hawley in case the new questions weren't very good.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted someone who knows podcasting, someone who's been podcasting for a long time, someone who can roll with the punches and turn not great questions into brilliant answers. There was no need. It turns out, really good questions. We had a lot of fun, and we're very excited about our new questions, if I may say so. But yeah, Jacob was the perfect, as he put it, guinea pig for this episode.
This is a great laugh. Jacob's a great laugh.
Yeah,
lots of laughs, guys. We really, really hope you enjoy it. Now, Tim, Jacob Hawley has got the world by the tail and he's made it all happen himself. Can you, as someone who has had front row seats, quite literally, to, slightly side of stage seats if we're being pedantic,
lovely,
to Jacob's success, can you please explain to the listener, and a lot of you already know this, but it's amazing, it's wonderful what he's done. Just please explain what's happened.
It's really brilliant what's happened with Jacob. So the full context is I've known Jacob since, I think, 2016 or so, when he was a hugely promising open spot at a different gig I used to work at. And then Jacob's had a lovely, lovely career. But what's really changed things is launching the Screen Rot podcast. When he first came onto this Always Be Comedy podcast, I think we're probably about 8 episodes into the Screen Rot podcast, and what's happened since is crazy. So they've done live shows in Bush Hall that have sold out in a morning. They've done a national tour, and then most excitingly, at the end of January, they are doing the Shepherd's Bush Empire. They've sold it out in advance, which is just crazy. Like, it makes me emotional to think about, and it's all down to this brilliant podcast he does with the fantastic Jake Farrell, another brilliant comedian who did stop gigging for a few years, but he's coming back, and it's a very, very exciting thing. So yeah, the Screen Rot podcast, aside from the Always Be Comedy podcast, it is my favorite podcast. I really love it, and I'll be there at Shepherd's Bush Empire, side of stage once again. And I don't know how I don't sob myself to death. It's going to be brilliant.
I told you last night, I'm doing the audiobook of Bob Mortimer's. I know, I'm sure you've all the listeners, I'm sure you've already done it. But it's one I bought a while ago. I don't know if you ever do this one audiobook. You buy it, I'll listen to that one day. And then, anyway, I finally got around to it. The way you're describing what's happened with Jacob, there's a big section of the book where Bob describes seeing Vic Reeves and his big night out show in a pub, and there are 15 people in the pub, and then the week after there's 30, and then they have to move to a bigger room. Jacob with Screen Rot, they've got that similar snowball thing going on, haven't they?
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. It's very much a self-produced podcast, so it really is that sort of thing where you sort of just put a podcast out one day and hope people listen to it, and then it just builds and builds to the point that, like, I have friends who've no real interest in comedy, particularly, that now listen to it and are huge fans. So, like, that's always the test for me when it reaches people outside of comedy and they're listening to it. I'm like, oh wow, they've got something there. So yeah, if you don't know Screen Rot, it is them analyzing a content creator, quote unquote, with giving it the reverence it possibly doesn't deserve. It's really brilliant. It's them doing sort of like Monday Night Football analysis on like someone who does silly TikToks. Essentially, it's a very funny show.
Hilarious, love it. By the way, Jacob Hawley is now headlining our show on Thursday, the 26th of February. That promises to be a banger. Sam Campbell is also on that one. It would be lovely to see Jacob back at Always Be Comedy as well. Also, Tim, when you were talking there about someone having a moment and people getting attracted, people, I don't want to use the word zeitgeisty, but I think I just have done.
Go for it.
There's an act called Tom Nestor.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had 3 people mention Tom Nestor. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Nestor, Nestor. Maybe I'm overdoing the or. But we had 3 people mention Tom to us in the space of a few days, and so Tom Nestor is with us at our Chelsea night, same night. Oh my gosh, guys! Thursday, the 26th of February. You probably follow Tom on the socials. Yeah. Ian Sterling, Michelle de Swart, Bella Hull, Tom Nestor. Tell you what, guys. Thursday, the 26th of February. If you visit the Always Be Comedy website, you will see 2 spanking lineups. So, yeah. I mean, if only you could come to both, but obviously pick one. But all these and many more. This particular week, we've added so many new shows, and so March is almost fully booked. Next stop, April. But yeah, in the coming weeks and months, there's the likes of Nish Kumar, Amy Annette, Sean McLaughlin, Shalaka Kurup, Maisie Adam, Joe Thomas, Michael Odewale, Jin Howley, and many, many more. Rachel Paris, we've just added some shows with as well. So we will see you at a show soon. Now, before we get to Jacob, Tim, Jacob is about to announce a tour. He teases it. He doesn't more than tease it. He explicitly says it on the podcast. Promotes it, actively promotes the upcoming tour. Watch this space. And then also, Tim, there is a special to boot.
Yes, absolutely. So I believe Jacob's plan of attack for the next few weeks, 31st of January, Varotti's at Shepherd's Bush Empire, sold out completely. Astonishing stuff. Then I believe it's the 1st of February, for the very next day, it is the King of Holloway Road, Jacob's new special, which is based on his tour show, slightly adapted for a special. That's going to be really brilliant. That tour show is excellent. And then he'll be announcing a tour in a week or 2 after that. And it's going to be his biggest tour yet, such as Screen Rot. And it's a very exciting time. I would get following Jacob Hawley on Instagram if you don't already, because that is where you will find all the information.
Superb. Without further ado, here he is, the great Jacob Hawley. Hello, welcome to the Always Be Comedy podcast. This is Tim. This is a brave new world for us. So we're not sure on a title yet. Is it the Encore? On email, it's been 2.0. But anyway, we'll sort that in that's our problem to sort out in our spare time. The first person to do this, and I'm not saying that we're disorganised, but we were WhatsApping him the questions about 9 minutes ago, is Jacob Hawley. Welcome back, Jacob.
So I want to make it clear to the audience, I asked to come back on. I don't... it's not quite an encore if the act themselves insists on returning to the stage.
Mate, Jeff Norcott told us about a certain comedian who starts their own encore.
Wow. Well, look, I don't know that I'd ever want to do an encore. I mean, respect to anyone who's leaving anything out of the main show in the hope that people are going to ask them back on.
Yeah.
That is bold.
I've seen some acts literally go. I've never had an encore before. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think that would be me. But I wanted to come back on because I'm sort of trying to make as much noise as possible because I've got a tour and a special and blah blah blah. But this is one of my favourite podcasts I've ever done because this one is the one where I told the Bobby Davro story.
Oh yes,
yes.
Which we can rehash if we need to.
Well, there was a Davro sequel, wasn't there? So
So this is it. This is why I wanted to come back on to tell the story of the sequel. So last time I was on your pod, I think you asked me about a dream lineup, and I think I included Davro on my hypothetical dream lineup because many years ago I'd done a gig with him. He'd been booked to headline. He'd done about 2 hours. He'd left with the mother-in-law of the bride. Songs that the staff of the venue begging to leave, and I just hadn't ever seen anything like it. And I imagine you might share this with me, James, that I quite like old school song and dance men. Do you know what I mean? Or women, whatever.
I was on the edge of that Davro story. You know that I am the target market as someone who grew up with Davro, Abbott, Dennis, G, Emberg, etc. It couldn't be more in my wheelhouse. And these guys, in the middle of their show, they would sing a song. They might do it as a character or what have you. I miss the variety days.
Well, I love Charlie Baker, right? Because he doesn't do much musical stuff, but he's that, isn't he? He used to do musical theatre. He is like proper old school song and dance man. So yeah, I love that stuff. And so I told that story on your pod about gigging with Davro and him. Doing 2 hours, songs, everything, amazing, never seen anything like it. And then about 6 months later, I was in my house and my washing machine was broken. And I was waiting for a man to come and fix the washing machine. And I got a call from an unknown number. I'm just in my kitchen with my kids. And I sort of answer, and I think you're waiting for a tradesman. You imagine the unknown number is the tradesman.
Absolutely.
And the person on the other end of the phone goes, "Is this Jacob Hawley?" I said, "Yeah." Assuming they're going to go, "Do you live at?" Yeah. I thought it'd be like, is it? We're coming to fix your hot point, right? I said, "Yeah, it's Jacob Hawley."
It's the ultimate tradesman on the phone.
Well, this is it.
The master tradesman.
The voice on the other end of the phone goes, "What's the most amazing thing you've ever seen?" I said, "Pardon?" And they go, "What's the most amazing thing you've ever seen?" I said, "Sorry, is this for the washing machine?"
Is it to do with the spin cycle?
Most amazing thing I've ever seen.
40-degree wash?
Yeah. I said, "What are you talking about?" The voice on the other end of the phone goes, "You said the most amazing thing you've ever seen is Bobby Davro."
Oh my God.
I went, "Right." And then the voice goes, "This is Bobby Davro." I was like, yes! He'd got my number. Basically, I think the clips that you'd done from the pod or the podcast itself, had done enough numbers that his daughter had found the podcast.
It did well on TikTok.
And had been like, "This young comedian loves you," and sent it to Bobby. And so he got my number. I don't know how he got my phone number.
Someone snitched.
Well, happy as Larry.
074.
I've having now spoken to Bobby. He's a good man, but I think if he called me demanding someone's phone number, I'm giving it up. I'm giving him what he wants. But so he called me, and I'm in my kitchen, and he's like, "Thank you for your kind words," blah blah blah. And I think he'd had a bit of a rough year at the time. This is like 18 months ago. And he was like, "Thanks for your kind words," And he was sort of talking to me about what I do, and he was like, I understand you're a stand-up. I haven't seen you before, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, "How's it going?" I was like, "Yeah, enjoying it." And he was like, "What you got to do?" He goes, "When you're doing stand-up," he goes, "you got to make people feel something." And I said, "Right." And he goes, "It's one thing telling jokes, but people really like it when they can connect." And I go, "Yeah." And he told me this story. He goes, "Here's a story I tell on stage." He goes, "Basically, when I first became a father, I was working so much. I was around the country doing shows, and I as my kids grew up, we sort of drifted apart a bit at one stage." And he goes, my daughter went off to university, and I didn't see her much after that. Separated from the mum. And he said, I was doing a show in the city where she lived, and I messaged her out of the blue years later saying, could we meet up?" And his daughter said, "Yeah." And he said he met up with his daughter, having not seen her for years, and he went to kiss her on the cheek. He kissed her on the cheek, and she immediately put her hand to her cheek like that. And he thought she was rubbing the kiss off because she was angry. And he said, "Don't rub it off, darling. That's a kiss from your dad." and she said, "I'm not rubbing it off. I'm rubbing it in because I've missed you so much." And I'm on the phone going, "Wow, yeah, broken washing machine." But I go, "Wow," and he goes, "If you've got any stories like that, Jacob, it's important you tell them on stage because audiences feel something when you say stuff like that." And I'm nearly in tears. I'm like, "Yeah," and then he goes, "If you haven't got anything like that, just make it up." I made that one up. Mate, world class. If
Davro is listening, and there is every chance.
Please,
every chance.
Oh.
That's what Davro should do. Genuinely, he's got to raid his own back catalogue and get them all up on Instagram.
Well, this is what happens
Crazy
to people.
that he's not done that. He's got so many sketches.
Yeah, I mean, this is because you see that there's a guy called Sam Piccone, and he's like a young comic. He's really good, and he helped out Jeff Innocent. I think he was the one who said to Jeff Innocent, "Look, you're great. Let me get all the clips of your stuff, get it out." And now Jeff tours to big numbers. Like,
so Davro needs his own Sam Piccone, doesn't he?
Well, if Sam Piccone's listening, can we point him towards Bobby Davro? Can we?
Bobby, right? Roy Castle, this is you two are way too young for this. So the over 40s, Roy Castle used to host Record Breakers, and his catchphrase was something. It was they sang a song, dedication. Dedication's what you need. So it was all about, to be a record break, you need dedication. Bobby Davro did a sketch where he was Roy Castle playing a trumpet, and then he went into the toilet and you heard him shout through the bathroom door. Instead of "I've got dedication," he shouted, "I've got constipation." Bobby, get it shared. Come on. Get him out there.
As a result of Jacob's story, I ended up going to see him in Edinburgh, and it was amazing. It's like 90 minutes, and I mean, I don't know what it was, but it's just like
it was everything. It was variety.
I genuinely loved it, and because like at the Fringe, you're watching these very fringy, quite earnest shows, and then you're just watching a man sing "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" so sincerely, and then a Donald Trump impression. It was just.
Well, I've heard that I've heard that one of the gags from the show you've seen. Do you know which? I mean, there's a few. There's one. He goes. I've been accused of sexism in the past, and people think I'm some kind of sexist. If anyone thinks I'm a sexist, give me a show of tits.
Jesus Christ!
But like, we don't.
People listening to this and be going, "Oh, this. Hang on, don't tamper with the classics."
But it is. I think it's very specific that Tim enjoys that as a kind of tonic to the very clever, earnest comedy that you get. Do you know what I mean? It's that's how it's best appreciated. You know, it's like a mango lassi after a hot curry. You wouldn't always go for the lassi, but when you got a mouthful of spice, it's nice to cool things down a bit. You know.
In the car the other day, YouTube Music Shuffle was on, and Freddie Starr sings Freddie Mercury's "The Great Pretender." But just sings it in the most sincere, because that was that era.
I miss that era. I was the.
I've heard on the comedy grapevine that Bobby would love to be back on telly. Right, I've heard that from a reliable source.
Yeah,
but I cannot emphasise this enough. Bobby is. I think it makes more sense for Bobby to make the magic happen himself and raid that back catalogue. Years of sketch shows. So imagine how many hundreds of different sketches he's got. I just get them all up there on the reels and on TikTok
and YouTube as well.
YouTube,
yeah. It's a funny thing now. I think of that generation. It's like, you know, does he want to be back on telly? Like, does he? You think of like someone like Finn Taylor now. Like, you know, Finn's like the king of the internet. Do you know what I mean? He did all the telly, and now he's king of the internet. And it's like, I don't know if Finn would ever want to return to TV because he wouldn't have the freedom to do what he does with the stuff that he does with Finn vs. the Internet. You're
much better off being the king or queen of the internet. Surely. I mean, there's a friend of ours who did a certain TV show, and it got so little traction that they had to go on social media to check that it actually went out.
Well, I remember I was doing your gig. Wild. I was doing Kennington the night that the sort of first and only time I've done stand up on TV went out, and Sean Walsh was on, and you know what Sean's like, and I can't stress enough, Sean's a friend, and like said this in like a friendly, funny way.
Yeah,
I was like, we were sort of backstage, we were in the fire escape, and backstage,
glitz and glamour.
In the third green room.
yeah. And I was like, it's a big night for me tonight, Sean. You know, I've done the Russell Howard hour. It's going out on Sky tonight. And he went, oh, really? I was like, yeah. And he went, 50 new followers at best. And he was right.
Well, look, Jacob, if we're talking about kings and queens of the internet and people who've made it happen themselves, I mean, you are at the vanguard of this. Like, genuinely. Please, right, to any listeners who might not be aware, please explain what happened with Screen Rot and then the exciting announcement that you told us pre-show.
Well, so I'll try and keep it brief. I don't want to get too, like... Basically, I'd been doing stand-up for nearly 10 years, and I was signed to a big agent, doing Edinburgh Fringes and you know, doing enough TV that Sean Walsh would tell me I'll get 40 new followers after doing it. And then, like, basically in 2023, I sort of got fed up, and I was like, I need to do something else, which I think many of us have kind of hit that wall or that glass ceiling. And so, yeah, I got my mate, Jake Farrell. We started a podcast called Screen Rot, and it's sort of ostensibly about social media, but really, we sort of went in with the mission statement, and it's something I spoke to Pierre Novelli about, actually, about, like, God, we just need to be able to make stuff where we think it's as funny as the conversations we have on WhatsApp. Like, I remember me and Pierre driving back from a gig and being like, not just in stand-up, but in general, if we could just make stuff that made us laugh as much as our WhatsApp group chats, then... Because I think comedy is all about trying to find, like, the most authentic version of your comic voice, right? And I remember when I started, people would be like, yeah, you just need to be who you are when you're making your mates laugh down the pub. Whereas in 2023, it's not making your mates laugh down the pub, it's making your mates laugh on WhatsApp. And so it's very much like... I wanted to be more of the person I was being when I was making Jake laugh, if that makes sense. And similarly, what he does with me. And so, yeah, we started that in 2 years ago, 2023, nearly 3 years ago now. And it's just sort of grown over time. And I think it's now done what I wanted all the TV and radio to do. I say all the TV. I've done tiny bits of TV and some radio stuff. But, like, I've got a little audience now, which is, you know... Like, we're doing Shepherd's Bush Empire. Tim's going to be there on the 31st, and that's sold out, which is mental.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, I'm announcing a tour where we can do, hopefully, like, thousands of tickets across London, and it's like... it just changes everything, and do you know what? The funny thing that you kind of learn is it's like you realise that the years you've been doing comedy before that, you've been doing it on hard mode, because... Like, I've been a club comic for years. I've been doing, you know, comedy clubs. It's been my job since 2019, and my primary source of income was going to comedy clubs for a lineup that I'd not been announced on and trying to make people laugh who didn't know I was going to be on the bill or don't know anything about me. And that is so much harder than trying to entertain people who've come knowing who you are. And so, yeah, it's. I guess since the last time we spoke, it's kind of changed a bit in that I've got people who actually want to see me do comedy now, and it's taken 10 years, and you know, we can talk about that a bit more later. But it's so liberating, you know, and I think it changes. It's certainly changed how I do stand up now, because it's like I think for the first sort of 6 or 7 years, I was doing stand up to try and get on Radio 4, right? Mm. And so it very much tempers what you write and what you talk about. Whereas now it's like I've got these lunatics who are very much more my sense of humour, and so I can lean into that, which does make certain things harder. I mean, I was in Zurich with Maisie Adam last week, and I mean, what, you know, the stuff that I talk about on stage now, I'm like, I don't know, how do I talk about paedophile hunters to a load of Swiss people?
Were they on board?
Do you know what, they did actually really go with it, yeah. But I think it's also,
is that a thing internationally, or is that just like UK and America?
What do you mean?
These are the proper questions.
Yeah, do they get pedo hunters in Switzerland, basically?
Oh, right, sorry. Well, I actually, to be fair, I did bottle it a little bit, and I did some stuff about how my son won't stop breastfeeding and how it looks a bit creepy because he's so big now. But it's still
He's 22. Come on, it's good stuff. Come on.
He's seen the set. Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to feel, and it's like the podcast we do kind of gets named amongst like Finn Taylor, who I think is amazing, and Mike and Vittorio, and Have a Word, and Joanne McNally, who does her stuff, and it's like those people who've kind of built that podcasty, online-y thing that I think feels like the thing at the moment, doesn't it? It feels like what everyone's trying to do at the moment.
I think to anyone listening, we have a lot of aspiring and new comedians who listen. What you're saying is brilliant advice, because when I started comedy nearly 16 years ago, you're all, maybe one day I'll get on television. Whereas really, the point we're at now is you just make it happen yourself. I remember someone posted about, my phone doesn't ring anymore. Well, fuck, no one's does. Fucking do it yourself.
Mate, my phone hasn't rung in a long time, and it's the best I've ever felt.
Instead of us being like, we're all waiting for, we were for donkey's years waiting for the agent to call us, or someone to reach out to the agent. Whereas now all the guys that you're naming there, you McAnally's and Finns and so on, they've all done it themselves. I mean, it's brilliant.
Well, I phoned Finn when I left my last agent, or the one prior to the one I've got now. I phoned Finn, being like, what do I do? Because I knew that he'd left a kind of similar agency, and I was like, where, who do I sign with? Where do I go? And he's just like, fucking do it yourself, mate. He's like, 100%. He's like, what do you want? And I think, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, but he was like, I did all the TV, and Finn did everything. I don't want to just talk about Finn Taylor the whole time. Like, he did everything.
You love Finn, fine.
I do love him, but no, he was just very helpful in sort of saying like, do it yourself. And I think now you see that so much more of like someone like Jack Skipper, who's sort of famous before he was a comedian. And all credit to Jack, he works his arse off and he's an absolutely brilliant stand-up. But Jack's got what he's got off his own back, off laying in bed and filming himself. It's not loads of hard work, but you know what I mean?
I remember Bill Burr saying, though, that he says, because some comedians, this was pre-Riyadh Bill Burr, he said that some comedians think that, you just put clips out and then you automatically sell out arenas. He's like, it's still got to be compelling stuff.
Yeah.
I think you often end up having conversations in green rooms now, or indeed fire escapes, and it's like, what font are you using? What camera have you got? Which editing software? It's all that now. I remember when I started, it was what gigs are worth doing. Now it's like what editing software is worth using, and it's like you can kind of get hung up on all that, but I don't think that fucking matters really.
Might not be a deal breaker if you roam away.
No, but I was very smart.
Wingdings, but that would actually make a difference.
That will cause a problem. Ori Styler told me he was impressed by the camera we used because it's the same one he has on tour, and for some reason that made me feel very warm.
Well, Ori's another one who
absolutely is,
absolutely
biblical amounts of tickets.
Another one at the absolute vanguard. Right, so is there anything that you're allowed to share about the tour and the London date and so on?
I don't know, maybe not. Who cares? They're not going to do anything. Probably do Bush Hall in London first, and then I'm hoping to do because we've done Bush Hall with Screen Rot a lot, which it feels like home turf now. Like our podcast listeners, they've got their pub that they start at before, and then they've got another pub they go to after Bush Hall. And so that feels like a home ground now. Do you know what I mean? It
Jacob,
feels like home turf.
If someone had said to you a few years ago that Bush Hall will feel like your home ground.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And this is amazing.
And then I'm hoping to do a much bigger one near where I live in North London. That's the kind of game. That's the ideal situation. So,
guys, it's Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, the way things are going, dude. I mean, it's as my mum would say, it's all happening. It's all doing that, isn't it?
Well, I hope so. I mean, to be honest with you, though, I remember I remember a comedian, I won't say who, but a comedian got cancelled a few years. Not cancelled, they got some stick on social media. No one gets cancelled, but like, so I remember someone had said something that people didn't like, and they got cancelled on social media a couple of years ago. And I remember seeing some of their detractors being like, "Oh, he's crap anyway. He only does 200-seater rooms on his tour." And I remember reading that and being like, if I ever get to a point that I could sell out 200-seater rooms on tour regularly, I've won. I like call it there. Do you know what I mean?
That's not the burn that person thinks it is.
Exactly. It's so hard.
If I'd read that, I'd be like, oh, good for them.
Oh man, yeah.
Absolutely.
There are so few people who can do, and like those 200-seater rooms, you know, which I've done club gigs in, the Glees and the Comedians and the Forges and all those kind of rooms across the country. It's like, if you could do them under your own name regularly, it's like you've won. You've absolutely 100%. Won. So yeah, if that can happen for me, I'm over the moon if people buy tickets to that.
And then the special. Sorry, Tim.
Sorry. When about RV? When's the tour? When is the tour?
Autumn, October through to
Brilliant.
Christmas next year, and then I'll hopefully do some more in the springtime as well. But I'm having another baby. I've got quite a big year. Third kid due in 4 weeks, so middle of Feb. Wedding in August, and then tour in the autumn to hopefully make all the money back to pay for both the wedding and the children. So that's my yeah.
I can hear Martin. I will not for Martin Lewis. I can hear Martin Lewis saying, "With the wedding, remember the marriage is more important than the wedding. Don't go crazy on the wedding."
Yeah, do you know what? It's the funny thing.
Quite somber advice that, but he's
yeah. It's not romantic. It's not romantic.
Whoa! Put the cork back in that champagne. What you doing?
Yeah, we'll be prosecco rather than champagne. I think
that's the spirit. Huge congratulations. That was a string of Tim. That was a string of exclusives there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got a special coming out in but a few weeks.
Yeah, February. Yeah, I literally sat with my mate doing the edit yesterday, and I'm fucking buzzing about it. That's another like such a nice thing now, is that you can just film your best work and just have it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Loads of people can just have it, and you look at like Red Richardson's just got 100,000 views on his. Vittorio can't be far behind that, maybe ahead. Who knows? But like, it's amazing. Like the idea that 100,000 people could watch your comedy is like. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Thing is, that is more than Wembley.
Yeah, it's more than anyone can tour to usually. Like, who sells 100,000 tour tickets? It's amazing. So yeah, it is. You know, and there'll be people who aren't doing the kind of online thing who'd maybe think, well, yeah, but that's not for me. But it's, as someone who sort of put it off for a long time, I was. It took me a while to be like, yeah, okay, just throw everything at the internet. It's like, why would you not? Like, that's you know, you can access so many people now.
By the way, I'm so sorry for saying that. I cannot. I love warming up for Martin Lewis so much that I just can't turn it off. If someone says credit card, I immediately want to go. You got to pay for your credit card in full. You've got to pay it off in full.
Your finances must be immaculate, mate. Having spent that much time.
Do you know what? This is genuinely. He did a pension special. And I'm 47 years. No, I don't believe it. No, I am. Purely off the back of that episode, I finally sorted my pension out.
Really? I might go back and listen. I'm doing mine right now, so I might go back and listen to that. Actually, that's it. There we go. Never mind my special. Let's plug Martin. This is pension advice.
This is the direction I've always wanted this podcast to go. Always be cost effective.
What's lovely is, Jacob, first time we did this podcast, I think there's maybe like 6 screenwriter episodes out. Like, it was such a new thing. So it's a real. I think people should go back and listen to the first one as well to see like where you're at now. Like, it's crazy.
Well, it was 20 minutes long, and we didn't. I think the camera stopped working halfway through.
When did you realise that the pod was? Oh, hang on a minute. This is traction here.
Well, I mean, like you can. Obviously, you're tracking the numbers. Do you know what I mean? You are like you know how many people, and it was like, don't get me wrong, it was 6 months of 300 people listening to it. Do you know what I mean? Which we were delighted with. Yeah. But yeah, I know.
The thing is, though, even there, genuinely, even if you think about 300 people listen to the. Again, that's a big. I know obviously you're dwarfing that now, but even 300 is like, even that's not to be sniffed at. Or does that make sense?
No, of course, mate. Oh, we were delighted. We were over the fucking moon. And do you know what? When we realised it was sort of getting a bit, we basically got this message from this guy who was like, "This might come across weird, but I've made a spreadsheet of all your episodes. Me and my mates sort of work on this spreadsheet of because we talk about different social media content creators in each episode, and he was like." We've ranked all of the episodes, not by how much we enjoy them, but by how much we think you hate the people you're talking about. and well, they're now the spreadsheet boys, and they're sort of fabled within our community of listeners. They've got their own sort of tier, and they get one of them got recognised at Glastonbury last year, and like loads of people were taking pictures. They were like, "We found the spreadsheet boys."
I was at a little hardcore festival in East London, wear my little Rotters hat you gave me, and there was another guy in a Rotters hat, and we had a little moment.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to hear about.
Really lovely. It's really sweet.
It's nice that because we've sort of marked all of them. We've sent out thousands of these hats now, so it's like we've got all these nutters running around with the hats on. So I think it's nice.
That was a great idea because, like, it's a mad idea financially. It's not Martin Lewis' idea, but, like, because basically, if they sign up for. Is it £6 a month? They get a free hat, basically.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, if you're $5.99 patron, you get a free hat in the post.
But you see all these hats around. You do see them.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Martin would love that. We've got the special Martin Lewis wallets that you wave at the start of the show. I think this is he'd be nodding along here.
Yeah, it's the way to go. I think.
Right, so we'll say this about the original podcast: the questions, the format, we nailed. From episode 1. We'd love to flag that Tim and I were not entirely confident we've nailed the 2.0 questions, if you like. But here we go. Sorry, Tim, you take it away. So this is... I'm excited to know what we're going to call this. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in our return episodes, Jacob Hawley, thank you for being the first return guest. Rebooked. So... I think these work. I think these make sense. So first of all, it is. I mean, I've never asked these questions before, so now I've lost all confidence. Favorite green room hang? Who are we saying?
So I've got two answers for this. One is a kind of.
Can I just say that Tim has just done the podcast equivalent of when you've written a new bit that you think is great, and then when you're on stage. Saying it for the first time, you're thinking, "What was I?" Tim's face there was like, "Oh, when did we think this worked?"
I think it was the word "hang." I really.
Miggity back.
Immediately put your baseball cap backwards as you use the word hang.
Tim turned into Poochie from The Simpsons.
The next return episode, it's going to be, who do you like seeing in the green room?
Well, I don't know if Tim, you were there for the Rotties last year, weren't you?
I was. Lovely.
That was a good green room, wasn't it?
It was a mad green room. But...
Yeah, that was fun. Blank Peng, John Kearns, and everyone was quite drunk. That felt good. And those green rooms that we always have for the Screen Rot shows are fun because we always sort of mix like comedians with content creators, and it feels very weird if people sort of looking at each other going, "Who are you?" Like it's like, John Kearns, like best comedian of his generation, and we had him sat next to Big John recently. It's like, what do you do?
Is Big John the guy that eats a big meal? That's
right, and shouts Bosch. We've man.
I warmed up. I'm not au fait with this world, so I warmed up a last leg not that long ago, and someone's came. Oh, Big John's on. I was like. I felt 103 years old.
Well, this guy, I mean, we had him for a Screen Rot show in the summer. Like, we struggled to continue the show because he comes on. Everyone stood up. Everyone was just screaming. Stood up, screaming.
This guy's like, he goes down like Obama.
Yeah. We couldn't, we were trying to continue with the show that we've written, and, like, people just wouldn't stop. He's throwing prawn crackers at people. It's unbelievable. I think the best comedy club green room hang I've had, or the one that springs to mind, Ryan Cullen, Phil Ellis, Mike Rice in Cardiff. We went to gay bars every night, and it was just fun. And like Phil's a good mate of mine. Ryan, I love. Mike Rice is one of my best friends in comedy, so it's like that was nice. But I think the one I'd pick was it was actually it was a really depressing time, but it was me and Garrett Millerick, and I'd say it was 3 years ago. We did the Nottingham Glee on both the 30th and 31st of December. And I would say we were both going through minor nervous breakdowns at the same time. And so we were sort of drinking and having a good time every night, but also it would get to sort of 2 or 3 in the morning and we'd both be like, my life's falling apart. But I think for both of us, we'd be like, that was around the turning point. So that's just before Garrett stopped drinking. And I don't know if you've seen the weight Garrett's lost. He's in incredible shape now, and he's I think he would very much say he's sort of turned his life around since that. And then for me, I think I now Garrett directs my shows, and that has been a massive game changer for me. Like we're quite similar as acts. People, if you've seen both of us, you might not spot it, but we're kind of similar in how we write and how we perform. I think because we look quite different, people might not see that. But he sort of directed the show that is the special that's coming out soon. And I mean, mate, I've worked with a lot of directors over the years, but with Garrett, it's like he just gives you gags. Like the gags he's given me, it's just so nice. Like knowing that I've got this fucking amazing headline comedian who's just given me like all these fucking great jokes that we've written together. So I think that was like. That was a green room hang, if we're to use that word. It
is if we are to use that.
That was very pivotal to me. Yeah, me having that moment with Garrett. He stopped drinking, and I stopped not using him as a director. And I think
okay, great.
Both of us would look back at that as important.
Because Garrett has like people might not know this, like a theatre past. So like he knows what he's doing with like
he was a theatre director previously. Yeah, he was a theatre director previously, and if anyone does want to sort of like keep an eye out and watch the special he directed, they might spot that it's all one big story, and that was very much. I sort of came to Garrett with I had like 6 bits. One of them's a story, maybe 2 of them are stories, a few of them are sort of observational bits. And I think he's helped Alfie Brown in the past as well, Garrett, of going like, right, take that story, make that the show, structure it like this. He's just amazing. He's got such a good knack of doing that. And he also has one of my favourite ever stand-up shows, which is a show called Sunflower.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite shows.
Years ago.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable piece of comedy. And so, I mean, yeah, I don't know how much of it he's doing now, but if anyone does want help writing a show, I'd recommend Garrett to anyone. He's unbelievable.
Amazing. Tim, that question went better than it had any right to.
The question stays.
The question stays. Tim and I sometimes do like on WhatsApp. We'll do a penalty shootout. One of us has to guess something that the other one knows, and so if they're right, it's a goal, and if they're not right, it's a penalty miss. Tim, penalty goal.
Goal. Let's see how we get on.
Right, go, Tim, you're on a roll. Go for it.
On a roll. It is simply best new actor you've seen recently.
Now, I've taken a bit of liberties with this question. I'm not going to name the act because I honestly don't know their name. I've never worked with this person.
It's Bobby Davro.
This is a good start. I like the start of this.
But I'm going to tell you their piece of material, and then I'm going to tell you how it was shared to me. And it's horrible when people rehash other people's material. It's a Scouse comedian. It's a gay guy. And someone sent me his set, and I think this guy stopped doing comedy, so I don't feel too bad doing this. But it was Josh Pugh that sent me this. And this bit of material, this guy's like, I've been having trouble recently. My partner passed away, and the audience go, oh, and he go, oh no, I lost my boyfriend, and he goes, we had a decision to make. Do we bury him? Do we cremate him? What I've done, I've decided to have him put into a curry. The audience go, what? And he goes, I've decided to put my dead boyfriend into a cuddy because I just want to have that feeling of him dribbling out my arsehole one last time. Josh Pugh sent me that. And Josh went, the stand-up sketch show are absolute fucking cowards if they don't get this guy on. And to recreate that with a sketch.
God.
Josh is one of the funniest men in the world, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing that. That honestly, I've laughed about that for about 2 years since he sent that to me.
Imagine there's quite a lot of cups of tea getting spat out right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry to the listen. I know you've got such a lovely listenership. I'm so sorry for that. I honestly, I was nearly sick when he sent me that.
If you are that Liverpool comedian listening, we don't, mate. We're joking.
I think. Well, no. Listen, it's a great bit. It's a great bit, but the humour there is the idea that the stand-up sketch show have to hire in a load of actors to recreate that bit.
And zoom in on the bumhole. Perfect. And release the dribble.
Oh man.
Right. Well, Tim.
Is that a penalty scored or a penalty missed for that?
Goal.
Oh.
Goal. Safe. Right, Tim. Go for it, buddy.
Well, you've just answered it. It's favourite comedian who doesn't do it anymore.
Well, I don't know. To be fair, I haven't tracked this guy's career. I don't know. He's not on the stand-up sketch show. I can tell you that. Do you? I mean, this is a hard one because I assume that a lot of the people listening might not know some of these comics that I'm talking. There was a guy called Tim Shishodia.
Mate.
Do you remember?
When I started nearly 16 years ago, he was like the lovely bloke as well.
Yeah.
He was sort of like he was the golden dude. He was the new act who was, but he also had a proper job.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he'd win a lot of the competitions. He was sort of the guy that we all looked up to, really.
I wonder if there's any of his stuff online. You can see there are some clips of him on YouTube. I recommend people watching. This guy is so good. He was
really good.
And he had an act. He had a proper act. He was like this sort of bumbling, sort of posh. Yeah,
it was all this, wasn't it? Oh.
Yeah. That, do you know what? And that's whenever like I see someone new and they've got an act, I'm just like, oh yes. Like this, like, do you know Paddy Young?
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time I saw Paddy, and I was like, he sort of reminded me of Julian Barrett in The Mighty Boosh. Do you know what I mean? That similar kind of bumbling.
There's something a bit old school about Paddy, and I say that as a compliment,
Yeah. I just love when when it's like an act. It's you get it straight away. I think that's something to be said. But yeah, Tim Shishodia, go back and watch him. He's a brilliant stand-up.
Tim Shishodia said that he was such a lovely guy. Wherever he is, I hope he's really happy. He was brilliant and lovely. But he told a story. He got booked. I think it's for like a gig in Spain or something. But he clearly wasn't ready for this. He was like annihilating the 5s and the 10s.
Yeah.
And I think he got booked to do a 20. And he said, so what he did was he was doing the bumbling thing as he walked to the stage. So I think he's like walking through the audience doing, and someone in the crowd heckled, he's padding his time out. And Tim's internal monologue was like, shut up. That is what he was doing.
I feel bad that we've reduced him to the bumbling thing.
It was great. There was a bit of the Eddie Izzard about him. It's a bit it was that sort of. It was that sort of.
Yeah.
It was better than I've met Tim. I would love to apologise because you always will be a brilliant comedian. But that sort of, if I had to do an impression of him, that's my go-to, I suppose. If I distill it into, there was a lot of that. He was.
I would have said Jake Farrell, my mate, who I do the podcast with, because he was kind of half a foot out the door of comedy. He like a brilliant stand-up, and he'd sort of done the new act thing, and then in 2020 there was a lot of like heat of like excitement about him doing a debut show, and he was with. All the big sort of Edinburgh producers were chasing him. All the PRs wanted him. There was like way more heat around him than there was around me or anyone like that. And then because of COVID, it then got knocked back 2 years, and that just threw a massive spanner in the works. He didn't enjoy his Edinburgh that eventually did happen in 2022. And then, he was just sort of fizzling out, not really doing much. And it's the podcast has kind of dragged him back. And now he's like, thinking about doing some solo shows of his own, and because, he can sell some tickets now. So it's like, that is like a really nice thing of some, he's obviously my mate, but I think he's an unbelievably good stand-up. And he, as I say, 1 foot out the door, and then the sort of internet thing dragged him back, which is, it's so lucky.
That question stays. Tim, go for it.
Okay. What's a joke or bit that you've retired but you secretly miss doing it?
Oh, fucking hell, I don't know. Are we not doing the Piers joke who we wish you'd written?
Yeah.
That's coming up. But you could do that one.
Can I swap that one in? Sorry. I think I have got a bit of mine that I missed. But Mickey Overman. You must know Mickey.
I do.
Yeah.
She's so good. Like, she is, and she sort of started at a similar time to me. She's always been so good. And she had a bit that, and this would have been 10 years ago that I remember seeing her do this bit, and she's definitely retired this now. But she had a bit where she spoke about how many kids Jamie Oliver has, and how she thinks he's treating his wife like an actual oven. It's so good. And now that I'm about to have a third kid, I'm worried that I'm treating my partner like an oven. But any of Mickey's bits, like, she's so funny.
Again, someone who the internet, she's really made it work for her.
Yeah.
Big old gigs.
And her podcast with Sarah Keyworth, that I think they still do. I think her and Sarah still do that show.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny. I really recommend that.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, really good.
And then, so shall I seamlessly go to a bit of mine that I've retired?
Yeah, seamlessly, please, yeah.
I struggled with this one. This was the hardest bit, the hardest question to try and answer.
So what happened? I wanted to interview Jack Black, and I said, what from the back catalogue is the one where you're secretly like, I maintain that is good, and then it never quite got the love it deserved. I think it was sort of born out of that, and his was the Polka King. So I think he's got a secret soft spot for that. So I know that's a thing that Tim and I have talked about quite a bit. So I suppose that's where that was the genesis of the question, I guess.
Yeah.
I had some stuff about the Olympics, because I started in 2014. So 2 years later, I was doing Olympics.
I know a comedian who still does London 2012 Olympic stuff.
Mate, 100%, absolutely. I was going to say, yeah.
I love
Jacob,
it.
Yeah. 2 years on is fine.
I had a bit about Oscar Pistorius, and this is prior to Scandal and him.
Is it? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ. Because he was so... I mean, it's hard to talk about because of his crimes. I mean, to be fair, it's more reason why I can't ever get this bit. But there was talk of him being...
Imagine doing a Jimmy Savile routine. Right, forget all the...
Yeah.
Before we knew about that...
I'm trying to remember. Basically, I had a bit. There was conversations that Oscar Pistorius, who was a Paralympian, was so fast that they should let him race the able-bodied. I'm hoping I've worded all of this in a PC way. They were like, he should be able to race the. And I think I had a bit that was like, that's like saying that Usain Bolt's so quick he could race with the horses. And I still think that just about, I think that's quite, I think that works. But I mean, fuck it, it's 16 years on, and and now he's killed his wife, so now we can't do that bit.
Guys, before I do this bit, just forget.
Yeah, remove all
the
context.
Thing that dominated the global news for a moment. Okay, which one's next, Timo?
Okay, this one, you're a good person to ask this question to, because I know what the answer is. Before comedy paid the bills, that bit doesn't necessarily apply. Before comedy paid the bills, what was the weirdest way you ever made money?
What do you think the answer is?
Well, it's whilst you did comedy, and it's post Russell Howard.
Oh right, well yes, yeah, okay. I mean, this is it's. I did wonder how many. This is the depressing thing about me is I also have a few answers to this that are still while I'm doing comedy. I think the dream with this question is someone's successful enough that they don't need to do silly things anymore to supplement their income. So yeah, what you're referring to is that the television appearance that I referred to earlier that Sean Walsh correctly predicted I would only get 50 followers, 40 followers from. What Sean didn't predict is that some of those 50 people would be perverts. And so... And I can't stress enough, when I did this little bit on the Russell Howard Hour, I was fully clothed and socks and shoes on, right? Strangely, my feet got a lot of attention post that TV appearance.
What?
And I amassed a handful of good men who who wanted to purchase my socks and shoes. And so I did spend a good few years posting dirty socks and indeed the shoes from that show to men around the country who were keen to own a pair of my worn shoes or socks.
What are you talking about?
I was going to say, if you're not doing a video version, it's worth putting it on for James's response to this.
He's put his hood up.
How is it? How am I hearing this for the first time?
Yeah, I had material about it for a while. Well, you saw. I mean, you text the show that I spoke about this in Tim. That's right. Yeah. God, I'd forgotten this. Yeah. So yeah, I just had these perverts, and I've got to say they're like lovely fellas. What I did do is
How much dollar are we talking?
I made more money from selling the socks and shoes to the perverts than I did from the TV appearance.
No, you did not.
By quite a margin. And that is no criticism of Russell and Avalon and their fees. That is the appetite of these horny men who really wanted...
I know that's a good fee.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. But these guys... Yeah, man, they really wanted the shoes and socks. And I again, cannot stress enough. I think what had happened is I'd been on holiday not long before. So when they saw me on the show, went on my Instagram, there were feet in flip-flops or whatever, which maybe... And I was on Wiki Feet for a while. I'm off now, but I was on Wiki Feet. Not a great score either, but they still perch. But what did happen is the requests... Because I was keen to... I mean, I wasn't... You know, I had a young family. I live in London. I was a club comic. I wasn't making loads of money, so I was very keen to oblige these guys with the shoes and socks they wanted. And I remember a couple of times they were like, "You seem really cool with this," and I was like, "I don't care. Like, do what you want, man. I don't. I can afford to buy new shoes and socks now. It's fine." But I think because I was so sweet with it, they did start requesting dirtier stuff, and I had to draw the line somewhere.
My worry here, Tim, is that we've peaked with the very first time we've asked this question. No one's going to lay a glove on this answer.
Well, I had other answers that are boring in relation. I mean, I have done voiceovers in the past. I was one of the kind of sort of adverts that would come on just before Love Island. I was the voice of that for a while, and two of my exes messaged me to say thanks. I can't watch Love Island anymore. You've ruined that for me. What else? I sort of do football content stuff. I talk about football quite a lot on different podcasts, and I did a thing last summer where it was me. They basically got 22 kind of guys who talk about football on the internet, and I mean, trust me, there's about 100,000 of us, so it wasn't hard to find those. And this was a piece of content that was made by Currys like alongside Samsung, and it's because they were bringing out a new speaker, like a surround sound speaker. And so what they did, they got 22 of us idiots who talk about football on the internet playing a football match in some kind of indoor sort of football pitch in West London, and we're sort of playing this game, and they didn't tell us this would happen. And basically, who's the little Scottish ex-striker who commentates a lot?
Alan Coist.
So basically, we're playing, and they've got this speaker next to the pitch, And as we're playing, suddenly, about 5 minutes in, we can hear Clive Tildesley and Ali McCoist commentating on us.
Are you joking?
As we play. And what they sort of they're obviously filming it all. And all of us sort of turn around like, what is going on? What? How? What? And then after another 10 minutes, they come out from behind a screen and they're there, live comment. I got to score a goal that Ali McCoist and Clive Tildesley comment. Hawley's running through, the keeper's come out, he's slid it underneath it. Like, that is the... Like, it's great that the podcast's doing well and we're going to sell some tickets on tour. That's the apex of that. Nothing will ever get better than that moment for me.
I feel like I'm having a malarial dream.
Mate, I've had a weird few years.
Tim's thinking right now, we are spoilt for clips with this one.
Daniel, you've got 2 clips from 1 question.
I will say, though, yeah, you get 2 goals for this one, mate. This is 2 penalties. The hard thing was, basically, I underestimated that these lads who are football commenter, YouTuber guys, they're all 23, built like Topshop models.
Sure.
And I mean, mate, these guys, the cheekbones on these lads, and I'm 10 years older than them. I smoke, I drink,
have someone's eye out.
Right? Well, mate, I couldn't keep up. And once you've had 1 goal commentated by Clive Tildesley and Ali McCoist, you're not dying to then get nutmegged and Ali McCoist saying, "Oh, he's going to think about that in the morning." Do you know what I mean? Like getting completely skinned left, right, and centre whilst your favourite commentators rip you to shreds.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of strange ways that I supplement my income with that sort of shite.
Tim, that question might be man of the match.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I suspect. Do you know what? You'll get a lot of those though. Like a lot of comics have done and do weird stuff.
Yeah, it needs tweaking to incorporate present tense, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah. We'll
before or since comedy paid the bills. What's the weird?
Yeah.
Right, and then Timo, final question.
Final question. It's simply best advice, perhaps from another comedian or someone else.
Or something that you've learned that you'd like to share.
Well, I mean, I've kind of, Garrett's been very helpful with the shows, and I'm not going to mention his name again, but Mr. Taylor gave me a lot of good career advice. But I think, and you'll know from doing this podcast together and working together as closely as you guys do so regularly, like, comedy, especially in the UK, is very solitary. You do it all on your own. Do you know what I mean? It's very. I think in America, it's more collaborative with SNL and stuff like that. Whereas here, and I think you're getting it more now. The guys who do sketches on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, they tend to get together a bit more. But the best thing I've done over the last couple of years is just work with my mate. For a number of reasons, things are stressful and hard, and organising things and sorting out money and stuff, you're much better off doing that with a friend that you trust. But I think more importantly, like I said at the start, it is a kind of, for many decades, if you're doing this for a long time, you are chiselling away, trying to get down to, what people used to say was who you are in the pub making your mates laugh. And the easiest way to do that is just to put your mate in front of you. And like what I do with Jake every week, which is 2 hours of trying to wind him up and make him laugh kind of thing. And, it's given us this show that we've made now, which is me doing that. And I think the best shows of that ilk are that. It's not about the format or the topics of the show. It's about the chemistry between the two people, right? Like my missus is an avid listener of My Therapist Ghosted Me, and what Joanne McNally and the Made in Chelsea lady, they work. Vogue,
yeah. Whose husband was on Made in Chelsea.
She wasn't in it?
No.
Okay. She was married to let's not get into this. She was married to Brian Fadden.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what it has done is, as a stand-up, I mean, those, what I do with Jake now, the show that we make, and the 2 hours we spend together at least every week, they're like new material gigs for me now. And they're more useful than any new material gig I've ever done because I've got him. And it's like,
Yeah,
I can sort of trust his instincts more than I trust an audience's. He'll give me tags. He'll take the piss out of me in a way that I go, right, I'm going to repeat that about myself on stage. And I honestly think, like, do it with your mates. Find someone that you bounce off and that you kind of feel like you're being yourself with, and just do as much as you can with them, because I think that was where I was going wrong for years, of trying to do it all on my own or pairing up with people because I thought that would help because their profile or whatever, or industry or bollocks like that. And I think really stick with your pals and you'll get closer to yourself, as horribly earnest as that sounds.
Good answer.
That's a
Tim,
good answer.
the questions are good.
The questions are good. Jake, brilliant stuff.
Thank you for having me back.
Thanks
you
a lot,
for
Jacob.
that
That was great. That was
first
so much fun.
return. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for being our guinea pig. I'm genuinely delighted with how that's gone.
Who would you
Yeah.
of the previous ABC guests, who's on your list to try and get them back?
Everyone.
James Acaster, everyone will listen.
Well, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny man.
Very funny man. And people will love listening to him. Crucially, get those numbers in.
Well, and he's also a sort of the podcast daddy. Really, he was kind of the first one out of any of us to really ride that all the way to stardom.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the pioneers of this make it happen yourself thing. I mean, I don't know the guy at all. Never met him. But Paul Smith, is he not the? He's like the OG of getting stuff out there, isn't he?
He's the clip king. Yeah.
He's the clip king. I mean, Acaster and Gamble, absolute. Yeah, you're right. They're absolute pioneers of this whole podcast.
Yeah,
thing.
Gamble was doing podcasts he was doing the Peacock and Gamble podcast like a decade before any of this stuff.
We should also shout out Ben from Plosive, who produces their work, who is a genius of a man.
Wonderful man.
A true champion of comedy. Going back to when he was at Time Out.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Tell you what, the demise of journalism worked out well for old Benny Boy.
Yeah. Where would he be?
Oh man, that's so God. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, if you lose your job because of AI or cutbacks or whatever,
yeah,
it can still be absolutely fine.
Find the best comedians you can and ask film stars what they'd like to have for dinner. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Kumar commentating on the wrestling, one of his lines was something like, Gamble's not worked this hard since he interviewed Robert De Niro.
Really good stuff. Jacob, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Jacob.
Thanks for having me.
That was great.
Special coming out very soon. Tour date coming very soon.
Yeah, please, if you join my little mailing list, which is on all my links and websites and blah, 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 then yeah, tickets for tour will be out very soon, and then the special will be out in a few weeks' time.
God bless you. Well done with everything, dude.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Cheers, Jacob. That was brilliant. Huge and heartfelt thanks to Jacob Hawley. Now, Tim, we have a new outro question.
Oh, yeah.
So on the OG pod, the question is your favourite memory. We're going with, what's your favourite thing you learned about them today? Tim, I think I'm putting words in your mouth, but surely there has to be. There's only one winner, and that was all the foot-related stuff.
So I was aware of this because it was part of a show I teched for him, but I think it has to be. Yeah, I didn't know the extent of it, and yeah, him genuinely making more money selling his socks than from a TV appearance is pretty astonishing, isn't it?
It's absolutely wild. Also, Jacob, thank you for that gift, because now that we are getting lots of people back on the pod, we're able to send them the new questions, and we are able to put, you won't believe what Jacob Hawley told us.
Yeah. It's a very useful example. It's good to have certain examples for certain questions, and that is, top of the list now, isn't it?
Tim, be honest. When comedians ask us for the OG pod, when it's what thing would you love to replicate at this gig? If you hear my go-to example is the Paddy Young curtain story, which I love it so much. How much do you need to scream into a pillow every time I regurgitate the Paddy Young curtain story?
Well, the good thing is I'm so used to editing it out of episodes now. I sort of know, oh, that's a timestamp for me. So I genuinely wonder if it's been edited out of maybe 20 episodes, possibly more.
I would say more. So what happens, listener? I would say virtually every single time the actor's got a pre-prepared story, but then occasionally an actor will go, just to be clear, with that question, do you mean ba-da-ba-da-ba-da?
Yeah.
And so we often will use the Paddy one as well, it's certainly my favourite example. I just think
yes, Ed Burns one comes up quite a bit too. That's a good one too.
Burns is a classic as well.
It is a classic, yeah.
Anyway, bit of inside baseball there. So what a great time for the phrase inside baseball.
Oh, I feel like we're using it more and more.
I got it from the Dana Carvey, David Spade podcast, Fly on the Wall, because anytime they speak too much about the mechanics of comedy, one of them will say, this is too inside baseball. I wonder who... Somebody somewhere has really got that phrase going, haven't they?
I think so. I must have picked that up from you then, if I'm honest. I think that's probably how that's gone down the chain. Absolutely.
It's lovely stuff. Guys, huge and heartfelt thanks, as always. Please let us know what you think of the new questions. Is that dangerous?
Well, in theory, but I back ourselves. I have confidence in our new format. So you can leave comments on Spotify things. You can leave reviews. We haven't done our review spiel for a while. By all means, leave us a 5-star review. It's lovely to see, and apparently helps.
It does help. Yeah, please do. We've not said that for years. Please leave a review. I mean, please do. Please make it 5 stars. We heard a story from an act where an audience member came up to them and tried to give them feedback, which, just so you know, it's a bit of a no-no, that. In that, you wouldn't go up to a baker and start telling you how you should be making bread, But what happened was they came up to this comedian and they were giving them started giving them feedback, and this comedian was like, "Oh, for God's sake," But anyway, did you hear that, Tim? That one of the notes they've actually used it in the show.
Yeah, it's really unlocked for show.
So funny.
Yeah.
So one of the things they said that we can't say who, but the comedian was like, their internal monologue was like, "Oh, it's actually a really good note."
Yeah, absolutely. Look, sometimes it happens.
It's funny. Anyway, look, we love you all very much. Thank you all. Very grateful. See you at a show soon. Bye.